Thanks for joining us today, everyone. Really appreciate it. Excited for this one. Um, a couple housekeeping notes. We will have everyone muted during John and Matt's presentation. So if you do have a question, you can post it in the chat, and John and Matt will actually save some time at the end for some Q&A that we can open it up to the group as well. Excited to introduce these guys. If you're not familiar with them, this is Effective Inventory Management. They've been partner/consultant of ours for, I think, decades at this point. Helped a lot of customers out over the years. And as we've all been talking, we know inventory is usually the organization's largest asset. So these guys help. They're the experts for you to provide better customer service as well as maximize your return on investment. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my friends John and Matt.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, and good morning or good afternoon. I'm John Schreibfeder. This is Matt Schreibfeder. As Jeff said, we are here to help you achieve the goal of effective inventory management. Okay, that's what we do. We help you meet or exceed your customers' expectations of product availability. And I want to stop right there. That is the primary goal, meeting or exceeding your customers' expectations of product availability. But we want to do that with the amount of each item that's going to maximize your organization's net profits. Now, we've been doing this for a long time. Jeff, we've known each other for a lot of years, let's put it that way. Over the past, literally, and it's depressing when I think about it, 45 years, we've helped over 2,000 organizations achieve this goal. We are here to help you with your inventory challenges. We don't replace TrueLinks. We don't replace Tribute. We enhance and supplement the capabilities of your ERP for you to be successful. Okay? Now, how can we do this? Well, first, we love to examine what you're doing now, your current inventory, replenishment related policies and procedures, your facilities, how you decide what to stock, how you decide where to stock it, how you decide when to replenish inventory and how much to buy, when you take advantage of vendor special deals, buying before price increase, dealing with vendor A or vendor B. We like to really examine what you're doing, and we will perform a comprehensive analysis from your inventory related data and information that we get interviewing your salespeople, your buyers, your warehouse people, your management, and show you the difference between where you are right now and your potential. Part of this is helping you design and plan your internal supply network. Okay? When do you buy from a vendor? When do you transfer a replenishment quantity from a central warehouse or distribution center? How do you decide which of several vendors to work with? We go into all of this. And Matt, do you have as you have things to add, just chime in.
And a lot of these things that we've talked about initially, in a lot of cases, they aren't black and white answers. A a lot of it has to do with decisions you make. There aren't necessarily wrong answers to a lot of these questions. We want to make sure that we're helping you operate the way that you want to as efficiently as possible.
Absolutely. Very good point. Every one of our clients is unique. Your company is different than any other TrueLinks customer, or TrueLinks user, I should say. You're different than every other distributor in your particular industry. You have unique goals, a unique corporate culture. You're selling a unique set of products to a unique set of customers. And we have to customize a solution that deals with your specific situation. Now, TrueLinks, great software. It's one of our favorite software packages. One of the best things about TrueLinks is Tribute. Okay? One of the best software companies, if not the best, that we deal with as far as listening, supporting their customers. But we have found, in many cases, we need to provide customized tools to handle your specific situations. No, if TrueLinks can't put in everything that everyone could possibly need in their inventory, okay, it would be a mammoth software package, so big, wouldn't run on any computer. But we can customize tools to help you with your unique situation. We also can train your staff in best practices. You might say, oh, well, we have TrueLinks training. We know how to operate the software. Training goes beyond the computer system. In your warehouse, how do your folks pick orders? How do they pack orders? How do they put away material so that it minimizes the cost of filling orders? Okay. We're no brighter than anyone else, but we've done this, as I said before, for 2,000 times. We've learned a lot, but we just don't come in and give you a list of recommendations and go, hi, see you later, good luck. No, we design and lead you through an implementation plan that will result in your organization achieving effective inventory management. Every month, we compare where you are to where you were last month, and we want to see continual improvement. Okay. As we do this, we're going to monitor, support you, fine-tune your program to make sure you are accomplishing your goals. We have a lot of tools. Again, they're customized for every client. We just want to review a few of the ones that are most popular among the people subscribing to EIM services. One of the great ones is our multi-method ranking. You're used to ranking products. You know, you have your A items, your B items, your C items based on a certain criteria, cost of goods sold, number of hits or orders placed, something like that. We rank products by several different criteria, including hits, okay, number of times a product is sold, regardless of the actual quantity sold. Custom orders 1, 10, or 1,000, it's one hit. Okay. Profitability ranking, cost of goods sold. We have clients who want ranking by number of customers. Do that as well. Now, one of our rankings is months with usage in the past 12 months. Was a product requested or sold in 1, 2, 3, 4 of the past 12 months? How many? Why do we do that? Well, what we found with conventional ABC ranking is the range of values in A items is gigantic. We were dealing with a client yesterday. Their A items, based on cost of goods sold, ranged from high. One product had over $100,000 cost of goods sold. Last one in the A classification had about $500 cost of goods sold. Say, that's a huge range. Why? Well, when you rank, you sort, in this case, cost of goods sold, highest to lowest. Okay, descending order. The ones that represent 80% of the total are going to be A. Represented that huge range. Very small ranges for C and D items. The difference between a C item and a D item might be $10 or one hit a year. When we rank by number of months, we can have 12 different classifications. Okay, that's great. One of the things that Matt did was allow you, based on your criteria, to blend these ranks into an overall rank. Okay, again, customization.
Yeah,
Even
very much
ahead,
like a high school GPA that we were all familiar with far too many years ago in my case. And we found, or at least I've found with working with a lot of clients, ranking is absolutely the most important thing that we could possibly do. It brings the most important items to the top of whatever list that we're reviewing, because the most valuable thing that you have in your business is your inventory. The second one are your people's time. And it might actually be the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the time to sift through items that really aren't going to move the needle one way or another. So bringing those items to the top of any list that we're looking at, to the top of any replenishment recommendations, is incredibly important. That being said, if we don't understand how items are being ranked, we might see some very, very, very misleading information. Kind of like John was saying, if we are ranking on solely hits and hits,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it, but it is a very, very small cost of goods sold, and we're actually seeing negative profit on it, that's probably not a very important item. It shouldn't
Matt,
be
let's
up in
look
that
at
A category.
this product number
Mhm.
4.
Okay.
A item.
So,
based on hits.
Yep. So A item based on hits. We have a lot of effort going into this item. A lot of people are requesting it. Okay. We look over a C in profitability. So it's not really earning us nearly as much as we could. We might want it to. And then cost of goods sold is a B. That is neither here nor there. It just means that we've got a decent amount of inventory dollars flowing through inventory.
Mm-hmm.
So what we want to do is start looking at some of these relationships where we have huge hits, huge cost of goods sold. So a lot of effort and a lot of money tied up in it, but we're not making anything on it. Is there something wrong with this item? Do we need to go back and adjust our stocking strategy? Do we need to look at our pricing strategy? John mentioned we do have some clients that really like to look at number of unique customers that are buying specific material because they are deathly afraid of the one person that buys an expensive item going elsewhere, and now they're stuck with stuff that they're never going to sell again. So in that specific client's case, we cannot have an A item. It cannot be an A item unless there are 5 unique customers that purchase it. And we can build those kinds of things in very, very easily.
And, this product number 4, just for another thing, This may be a loss leader, very competitive product, low margin. You want to be sure the clients buying this product from you are buying other things where you're making some money. So we customize the ranking. We also dissect your inventory. Okay. The great thing about your inventory is it's not alive. You aren't running pet stores. If we work your inventory harder, it's not going to complain. If we get rid of inventory that you don't need, taking the dollars that we get from disposing, liquidating that stock, investing it in other opportunities to earn a profit, you're better off. The inventory that we dispose of, that we liquidate, is not going to cry. It's not going to complain. It can't feed its kids. Okay? We want to work your inventory as hard as possible. Also, understand, you are not selling fine wines or antiques. Your inventory is not going to appreciate with age. We've got to move it. So we are continually looking at inventory that is not needed. Products without much movement, we want to question you. Why are you stocking it? Is it profitable, or does it lead to other profitable sales? We want to match those things up. Because if you're carrying this to sell that, we want to be sure that that item is profitable enough to carry this dog along with it. So we're going to free up inventory dollars to be better used.
When we say liquidate, we don't necessarily mean throw away. We're just trying to get as much back from that inventory as we can. And a lot of times we start these kinds of analyses, these kinds of programs by essentially doing triage on our inventory situation. Stop the bleeding, stop dead inventory from coming into our warehouse and dying on the shelves. So we're looking at how new products are coming in. We're looking at who's deciding to bring in excess material, all those kinds of things.
Exactly. Checking the performance. Putting into place a procedure, I should say, for checking the performance of new items. Are they selling as we thought they would? Okay. This, again, is supplementing, enhancing the information that you're getting out of TrueLinks. Another advantage that we have is that we provide tools that are a great big sandbox. You can do what-if analysis on your inventory until the cows come home. You can set up your system different ways and see what it will do to your inventory investment, your profitability, and what we refer to as your customer service. Customer service, how often, what percentage of line items on customer orders can you fill completely out of stock inventory? We can just experiment and find where your sweet spot is, and then figure out how to take that sweet spot and apply the rules in TrueLinks, as well as supplemental tools that we have to get you where you want to be.
And when we're doing these large changes, we want to check to see what's going to happen to our inventory long term. We're also very interested in what's going to happen immediately. So if we are looking at adjusting our replenishment system or primary vendors or something like that, we've definitely seen situations where that first recommended purchase is probably going to be far bigger than what we might want to do. We can look at ways of slowly building up to that outside of TrueLinks, and then using all of the tools and abilities within TrueLinks once we kind of reach a steady state.
Mm-hmm. And again, adjusting your parameters, adjusting safety stock based on the lead time, and not so much the length of the lead time, but the consistency of the lead time, consistency of usage. Is a product fairly steady in demand, or is it erratic all over the place? Okay. We will vary. I mentioned before the service level. We show you how you can raise your service level, raise availability, lower the risk of stockouts of inexpensive products without adding a great deal of money to your overall inventory investment. Okay. We can set up different rules for different segments of your inventory. Matt, you always use the example of the folks that provide non-food items to supermarkets.
Yeah, so they supply essentially anything in a supermarket that's not food. We have very, very, very low customer service levels on the toy aisle. I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. They don't really care if the specific Matchbox car, specific Barbie is there in the toy aisle. They just want something. And generally, I'm doing math in my head of, is this $5 thing worth them shutting up for the next 10 minutes so we can get done with grocery shopping? We have to have very, very high levels of customer service in cosmetics and beauty, because if it's not the right brand, the right color, any number of other characteristics, we might not get the sale on that product. And then we always like to ask the question, additional reserve inventory, it's an additional expense. Are our sales justified with keeping additional reserve inventory?
And this is a great exercise because we just don't work with your buyers, your purchasing people. We bring salespeople into the mix. We figure out what your customers expect you to have in reasonable quantities. And we're always balancing out that service level with your investment and your profitability. Okay? We will define your products into those with recurring usage, the products that you sell or use on a regular basis, and those with sporadic usage, those that you sell 6, 5 times a year. You have to stock them. One of the biggest problems we see distributors have is they try to forecast items with sporadic usage. You don't sell them that often. A forecast is a prediction of what you're going to sell in a specific future month. If you don't sell these products every month, if you have no idea when you're actually going to sell these products, a forecast does you absolutely no good at all. So we have techniques to identify your items with sporadic usage. And we will maintain those items, not based on a forecast of what you're going to sell in September, October, or November, but what you're going to sell in one transaction. What is the typical quantity you sell of this product in one transaction? And then how many transactions do you want to maintain in inventory for this product? So if a customer buys 6 pieces twice a year, that's not buying 1 piece a month. that's buying 6 pieces twice a year, and we better have 6. Now, we'll maintain a multiple of that typical transaction based on how frequently it does sell, the cost of the product, the lead time. If it takes you longer to replenish your inventory, probably want to keep more, and your desired level of customer service. But as I said before, we're giving you a sandbox. You can play in our spreadsheets with maintaining items with sporadic usage, different ways comparing the value of inventory you're going to have on hand with your service level, where you play with this and you find your sweet spot. Here you can see it's a lot less expensive to have a high service level on inexpensive products than more expensive items. Okay? We look at your internal replenishment network. Said before, we'll help you decide what vendor to work with. But for an individual item, do I get this directly from the vendor, or do I transfer it in from a central warehouse or distribution center, another company location? Well, we look at how many you have to buy from the vendor, if you can split a vendor package quantity between locations, how often you can buy from the vendor, because we want to keep your order cycles, your review cycles, how often you buy within a reasonable date range. And we will come up with a recommended replenishment network. Okay? TrueLinks has the tools. We show you how to take advantage, best advantage of those tools.
And
We calculate.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
And a lot of situations that we run into, some items just don't play by the same rules as the majority of your items do. So if we are looking at setting up an internal replenishment network, there just might be things that might make sense on paper to transfer from one location to another, but they're big, they're bulky, they're heavy, they might just not fit on the available transportation. We'll remove them. We'll create separate rules for those kinds of things. We're talking about those custom replenishment parameters on the previous page. One TrueLink customer we have 13 different ways of handling items based on different criteria they've come up with, and I'm pretty sure I just got an email from them asking to add a 14th. We can handle those kinds of but interesting situations as they come up.
And that's so important, Matt. It's not that they're dissatisfied now, but they look at a situation and say, what if we did this? Let's try to do that. No one that I've ever worked with, even customers I have worked with, and I have several that I've worked with for over 40 years, everybody is always looking to improve. And frankly, the better results we provide a customer, the more work we get from that customer, because they want even more improvement. You want to work your inventory hard. We're comparing your current on hand to an ideal inventory. Okay? Current on hand to an ideal. Over time, those two are going to get closer and closer and closer. Your target is going to be based on a number of factors. Okay? How you sell products, how you buy them, the vendors you deal with, but we're going to come up with that target. Okay? We'll get you there. We'll work to get there. Okay? We love analysis. One of the things that we like to do, showed you on the last screen is compare where you are now to a target. Okay. We have a measurement called adjusted margin, similar to gross margin, but we take into account your cost of carrying your average inventory investment in an item. How do we get our carrying cost? Well, this afternoon, you can go to our website, effectiveinventory.com. Under resources, download a questionnaire. We'll calculate your carrying cost for you and tell you if it's high, low, or just right for a distributor in your industry, in your geographic region. Okay. But we are always comparing Turner and Index, GMROI, where you are versus where you could be. We also give you a projection of your inventory levels over the upcoming. I only have 6 months here. We can go out 12 months if you like. Okay. Your core inventory, this is the target of the items that are established in TrueLinks. The ones where you're setting replenishment parameters. Okay. You have surplus inventory in those products, more inventory than you want. We project and we monitor how long it's going to take you to sell off that inventory. We set up speculative allowances. Okay, what's a speculative allowance? Well, it's an allowance of money that you set aside for new products and special buys, such as taking advantage of a vendor deal or buying before a price increase. We like to set up budgets for inventory. Budget. It's not a 4-letter word. It's a 6-letter word. We will not know how you are progressing, if you're making progress, unless we monitor your performance. Okay? We do a comprehensive lead time analysis. All of our clients, we have found in many cases, calculating an average lead time, an average of the last several lead times, isn't always accurate in a prediction of how long it's going to take to get the next replenishment shipment. So we go back over your stock receipts over the previous 3 to 6 months, and we see what was the typical lead time. Okay? We try to calculate. Listen very closely when I say the longest normally anticipated lead time for each vendor line and products within the vendor line. Longest normally anticipated lead time. If lead times for a product range from, say, 3 to 4 weeks, we suggest you set the lead time to 28 days, 4 weeks, not some sort of average. 3 to 6 weeks, suggest you set the lead time to 6 weeks, 42 days. If you maintain lead times based on the longest normally anticipated lead time, you can have less safety stock, less safety allowance, less reserve inventory, and still avoid stockouts. So we want to do this. Matt, we did one just a couple weeks ago. We found that 43% of incoming shipments were significantly late based on the lead time that was being maintained in this system. By the way, that wasn't a TrueLinks customer.
It was not. And a lot of the lead times that were in
no.
there.
Yes.
Yes, it was not. A lot of the lead times that were in that system wound up being nothing more than vendor promise dates or vendor recommendation dates. And one thing that we've really found is very, very useful with doing these kinds of detailed lead time analyses is going back to your vendors with very specific data, very specific examples of times where they are not meeting their own promise dates, and being able to actually document and calculate the amount of additional material that we are required to keep on hand due to our vendor not operating well. This is also one of the big things that we want to make sure we understand what is going to happen in TrueLinks when we upload new lead times or we start to manually maintain lead times. Because if TrueLinks, and this is the same with TrueLinks and every other ERP, but if TrueLinks thought a lead time was 14 days and it was ordering accordingly, we do the math and we find out it's not 14. We really need to plan on, I don't know, 34 days. TrueLinks and any other ERP is immediately going to try and order that additional 20-day amount of material right now. That can add up to a very, very, very large initial money going out the door that we might want to look to build up to a little bit more slowly. So that's one of the things we will always do when we're starting to look to do any kind of major lead time adjustments with any kind of manually maintained lead times.
Mm-hmm. Very good point, Matt. Very good. Okay. As we said before, one of our biggest features, what people like best, is designing an optimal internal supply network, deciding what you're going to stock in each location, okay? Deciding how it's going to be replenished. We look at all kinds of factors, such as the cost of the individual piece of an item, how many you have to buy from the vendor's minimum order requirements, whether specific locations have the ability to serve as a central warehouse or distribution center for certain products for the rest of your organization or the branches in one region. Those are fun. We've done this for several TrueLinks clients, and I enjoy it. This is fun. We lay out warehouses, or we'll take your current warehouse layout and try to improve the efficiency. Okay? Warehouses. We're trying to store products to minimize the cost of filling orders. So we will identify those locations, shelving units, pallet locations, floor storage areas that have the most accessibility for picking. Those with fairly good accessibility, those with poor accessibility. Okay? We show people how to plan their warehouse out, to have people travel through the warehouse to minimize the cost of filling orders. Just finished a warehouse layout where there are pickers. We're picking orders onto pallets with pushed pallet trucks. We made sure that they were led through the warehouse, picking the heavy, fast-moving stuff first, so it was on the bottom. Then as we proceeded through the warehouse, they picked the products that were not as heavy. Those were arranged based on how frequently they were picked. Finally, near the shipping and staging area, we have the very light items. We design, okay, how many packing stations you need, how many receiving stations you need, how much space you should have for staging. We want to give you the most efficient warehouse possible, because if we can increase the number of orders you can pull in an 8-hour day by 25%, whoa, that's going to be a huge savings. We'll calculate your cost of actually filling an order. One client, we lowered the cost of filling an average 4-line order from $13.60 down to $9.80. Almost $4 saving on every order they picked. Okay? $4 saving. They're picking 400 orders a day. We're saving $1,600 in operating expenses per day. That's going to affect the bottom line. If you are importing, you have a lot of challenges. You may have to buy the container. You are dealing with long lead times. You're dealing with, if you buy from China, the Chinese New Year. You buy from Europe, you're dealing with most everyone in Europe taking vacation during the month of August. Sure, you flew into Rome last month. There'd be a big sign saying, country closed, come back in September. Okay? We are constantly getting requests from our clients to evaluate price breaks, deals that vendors are providing them. Do we take advantage of this vendor deal? And if so, how much do we buy? Okay, these are all part of our standard services. You're used to a forecasting system that's called a time series forecasting system based on past usage history. The idea is what you sold or used in the past is a good indication what you're going to sell in the future. But we know things change. We have the ability to add what we refer to as collaborative information to the forecast. Your customers, your salespeople, your management's predictions of how sales, demand of products is going to change in the future. Going to go up or down. Further, we can go back after the fact and see if those predictions actually came true. How accurate was that collaborative information? We're not trying to find fault. We're trying to educate people so they make better predictions in the future. Finally, you deal with pre-season buys. You have to place, or there's a great advantage of you placing orders with vendors far ahead of delivery. A lot of people just guesses what they're going to buy. We have tools that make those guesses educated predictions do well. Okay? A lot of you have seasonal products. We have ways of applying what we call weather-related seasonality logic to those forecasts. Because doesn't get warm, doesn't get cold, doesn't get wet on exactly the same day or even in the same month every year. So I've mentioned before, buying for price increase, you're dealing with consignment or vendor managed inventory. We have tools to manage those programs for you with your customers. Okay? You get a lot of inquiries that sound like, okay, we can buy from a higher cost, more reliable supplier, or a lower cost, less reliable supplier, what should we do? We have tools that evaluate the cost of carrying the extra inventory that you're going to be forced to buy if you deal with the less reliable supplier. And does that extra inventory, is it justified in a lower overall cost and higher profitability? Okay. Now, we've covered a ton in 45 minutes. We want to work with you. We'd love to, and you'll see on the next screen. No cost. Analyze your inventory, show you where you are to where you can be, give you a list of recommendations, a suggested action plan, or you commit to work with us. But if you want a taste of everything we talked about in the past hour, we have a 2-day workshop coming up on October 29th and 30th. It's at a hotel at the Indianapolis airport. We're going to have you use your data. Okay? You come, if you can download your data, or you can download it, if you will download it out of your TrueLinks or Tribute system, you can use your data in a series of exercises that will show you your potential. You will learn how to maximize the profitability and productivity of your investment in stock inventory. We're going to give you the tools that you can take back and use over and over and over again. You can find details on the next 2-day set workshop on our website, effectiveinventory.com. That website, you'll also find a lot of good information, a lot of resources that will help you. Okay? As we said, we will analyze your current inventory, show you potential results. Worst, give you a quote. Before you commit to work with us, you have nothing to lose, okay? And a lot of profit to gain. If you have questions, let us know. There are our email addresses. We're not lawyers. We don't charge for 5 or 10-minute phone calls. We have a monthly newsletter. Please subscribe to it. Every month, we come up with new ideas. Okay? Whew. I'm tired.
Good job,
and
John.
With that,
Yep.
I'm going to open it up to questions, unless you have something to add, Matt.
Yeah, looks like we do have a question. Nicole asked, can this be done virtually, the analysis? With the advent and, I guess, expansion of Teams, we can do the vast majority of our analyses of our interactions virtually. Honestly, we actually kind of prefer it because we don't have to burn the time traveling. The only thing that is incredibly difficult to do, and it just does not work virtually, is any kind of warehouse design, warehouse operations, setup, those kinds of things. We've tried to do it with just walking around with an iPhone on screen time. Or excuse me, FaceTime, it just doesn't work. But for normal inventory planning, normal analyses, things like that, we can do the vast majority of it virtually. The only thing that would really be highly different is part of our normal engagement is about, what would you say, John, 2 full days of training for the people we interact with most often. We would take that and split it up into about 1.5 hour long virtual sessions, but that'd be the biggest difference between in-person and virtual interactions.
And yes, we can do anything virtually, but if you prefer on-site, we do that too. I'm dealing with a new client in Texas. Okay, he's my age. And he said, I want to see you here. Fine. There are airplanes between Indianapolis and Texas. It's how you want to do it. Good question. Other questions, comments? Well, if not, we hope you consider coming to our workshop. Even more, we hope you consider letting us analyze your current situation, showing you how combining EIM's tools with the great software you have in TrueLinks can make you unbelievably successful. With that, Jeff, I'll turn it back over to you.
Well done. Thanks so much, John. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. I think everyone has all your information. You can also reach out to me if you want to talk to me first, but these guys have been doing this and working with a lot of our customers over the years, so highly recommended. Definitely get the ROI back from their services. But thank you, everyone. John and Matt, we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. You all have a good day.
Too. Take care, guys.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.